Is your cat frapping? Because I don't mean to alarm you, but they probably are. Or more accurately, they're having a frap. But is that actually a bad thing, or is it something where you should just let them frap away? I can sense your confusion and worry, so let's talk about what exactly a frap is. I'm gonna give you its more common name, and we'll talk about why exactly cats have fraps, and if there's something that you should be worried about, and what you should do during a frap if your cat is having. Stick around to the end, and I'll teach you a really fun new term I just made up too. As silly as it sounds, FRAP is actually a legitimate scientific term. It's published in scientific journals. In other words, if you're a nerd, sometimes you get to give things cool names. FRAP stands for Frenetic Random Activity Period. If that sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook, you could probably just use its more common name, which is the Zoomies. That's right, the Zoomies has an even more fun scientific name. FRAPs, or the Zoomies, are when a cat suddenly leaps into action, like your living room has suddenly turned into a parkour course. They may also be running from a demon. I can't eliminate that as a possibility. Cats will run back and forth, and they'll jump on things, and they may accidentally knock things over. Honestly, in a lot of cases, it looks like they're on really strong catnip or silvervine. Most fraps only last a few minutes, and then your cat goes down to baseline. In some cases, cats may bite, but that's not particularly common. A frap is more likely to result in something being knocked over. That said, in a few moments, we'll go over a few reasons why you maybe would need to be worried in some cases. Your cat can get the Zoomies at any point during the day, but they might be more likely to have them at sunrise or sunset. This is because cats are crepuscular, which is my favorite word, and it gives me a huge rush of dopamine to be able to use it. Kind of like how you're going to get a huge rush of dopamine when you hit the subscribe button. See what I did there? Crepuscular means that the cat is most active at sunrise and sunset. The reason why they might get the Zoomies around these times is because that's the time when the cat's prey is most likely to be active in nature. Besides cats, dogs and other animals can get fraps too. We're not fully sure why cats or other animals have fraps, but we do have a few theories. Besides the thought about it being an increase in energy related to hunting, it could also be related to boredom or frustration. Frenetic random activity periods may happen, well, randomly, or they may even occur after your cat uses the litter box. Speaking of which, that's a great transition to if there's something you should be worried about. Generally, the Zoomies are pretty benign. The most important thing you can do is make sure that any valuable items or things that are breakable are secured and that there's no way your cat could injure themselves or somebody else. If you have items on display that could be easily broken or that are in an area that seems to be a frequent location of the Zoomies, you could consider adding some museum putty to the bottom of them to secure them to whatever surface they're sitting on. For some cats, it may not be a great idea to handle them during these periods because they may bite you. That's not every cat, though. Giving them a toy can be a good outlet for their playful behavior. Well, any sudden change in your cat's behavior is a sign that you should probably have them evaluated by a veterinarian to make sure that there's nothing medical happening to them. There is one specific scenario with the Zoomies where you should be a little bit worried. Cats will sometimes get the Zoomies after they poop, which is usually referred to as the poop Zoomies. However, I'm encouraging people to start using a new term that I made up called the Poopfraps. Honestly, I think I might be the first person ever to use that term, so that's a Joey original. There's a few potential explanations for why cats get poopfraps. The most commonly cited reason is that cats are worried that predators are going to smell the dump that they just took and they're trying to get on out of there. That said, something medical or concerning could actually look like a poop frap in some situations. If your cat is suddenly yowling, or they seem to be straining to poop or pee, or there's any change in the consistency or color or odor of their poop or pee, you should get that evaluated by a veterinarian to make sure that it's not something serious. Most of the time, though, poop fraps are just one of those endearing quirks that cats have. For most cats, fraps are totally benign and not something to worry about, unless you have something breakable there.